First, thank you, Ching Kwang and Eileen, for doing the introduction. And thank you all of you for coming to the Trials Group. I see a lot of Trials Group members have already logged in from across the Asia Pacific. So welcome today to the fourth Symposium of the Singapore Liver Cancer Consortium. And this consortium is also a part of the Asia Pacific AHCC Trials Group. So we used to meet regularly, but of course our last meeting, which was face-to-face, was in 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic started, and that has disrupted us, although our research has continued in the period. So we are very pleased to come back again here, although this is still a virtual session. This is, I think, a prelude to a future meeting face-to-face again when things become more normal. So for those of you who are maybe first time logging in or not familiar with the Trials Group, I'll just give a brief introduction. So the Trials Group, the AHCC Trials Group, was created in 1997 when clinicians from the Chinese University of Hong Kong, the Udanaya University in Bali, and the University Kebangsaan in Malaysia joined a randomized controlled trial in liver cancer proposed by the Department of Surgery, SGH, and NMRC Clinical Trials and Epidemiology Research Unit. So that trial later grew to include centers from Myanmar, Thailand, Australia, South Korea, and New Zealand. And it really became the first collaborative oncology trials group in the region with the first collaborative trial. And in this picture, you can see some of the founding members. You can see a much younger Professor Kim Wan-win, a much younger Professor Su, and of course, a much younger me as well. The aim of the trials group has always been to carry out definitive multi-center trials and other research on HCC in the Asia Pacific, because this is where the cancer is endemic. So in 1997, when we started, there were very few therapeutic options for HCC and very few large clinical trials. And I think that the clinicians bonded well because of a common need for a trials group that look for efficacious treatment for a common cancer that we are all treating. So the trials group has grown a lot. These were the first 6 trials that we closed. Our first trial started in 1997 and closed in the year 2000. And these were the first 6, and currently we have already closed another 2 studies, 07 and 08. The 09 is a randomized phase 2 trial. This will commence in Q2 this year. And also enrolling at the moment are the AHCC 10 and also the AHCC 11. And this is our trials group today. We have 57 centers in the trials group. Not all of them are in all our studies, of course. And we have centers in Australia, in Brunei, China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Mongolia, Myanmar, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, and aside from the US as well. So we are very pleased to have grown quite significantly over these 20 years. We used to have a lot of meetings before. This was the last time we met physically. This was the third symposium of the Singapore Liver Cancer Consortium and also the Asia Pacific HCC Trials Group. And this was held on 3rd of May 2019, which, as you realize, was before COVID started. So unfortunately, we can only meet virtually today, and we won't be able to have all the nice dinners together with all of you. These are some of the previous meetings that we had. So 2014, 15, 16, 16, 17, and 18. So we hope to be able to go back to this norm in the near future. So what I'll do today with the remaining of my time is to update you on what has happened in the last 2 years. Although we were quite stymied by the pandemic, we also managed to do a lot of things. We managed to complete the AHCC 07 Planet 1.0 study, and we have published in Cell, Nature Cell Biology, Natural Science Review. We have also closed the 08 registry, which enrolled more than 2,500 patients from 53 sites. And we plan and are about to launch the Stratum study in Q2 of this year. In the meantime, we have also started the Elegant study and have enrolled more than 1,000 patients out of 2,000 planned patients. And we have similarly also started the PROSEC study. In the meantime, we have published a paper from the Trials Group, and this was the impact of COVID-19 on the management of HCC in the Asia Pacific. And you can get that from the link here. So let me just update you on some of the findings. In the Planet 1.0 was a very important study. And in that study, which leveraged on a surgical resection cohort, we followed the natural trajectory of the patients. And we've made a few significant findings. We have found that oncofetal reprogramming in a significant proportion of patients confirm immune escape in HCC through VEGF and Notch signaling, and also niche co-localization of cells and molecular pathways. And today, Dr. Sharma, coming in from Perkins in Australia, will further elaborate on that. Sharma was with us and now started his own lab in Australia. We also found that most putative driver mutations are non-truncal and display very high intratumoral heterogeneity. Wei has published this, and Wei will be speaking to us on this today. Very importantly, we also found the coexistence of multiple transcriptomic subgroups in more than half of HCC. And Jinping is preparing the manuscript and will be speaking on this today. We found distinct immunological environments between hepatitis B, HCC, and non-B, non-C. And today, Valerie is not here, but Timothy will speak to us on that. So the OA registry has closed. We have presented 3 times on posters. And earlier this year, I presented the OA registry, which is the largest registry in Asia Pacific on HCC to date, at the World meeting. And very soon, I'll be presenting it at the Apostle meeting as well. This is the randomized phase 209 trial that we will be launching this year. This is an important study. This enrolls patients with high volume locally advanced tumor in a BCLC-B2. And of course, these patients should be treated with local regional therapy, and all of them will receive Spheres, after which half of them will be randomized to the combination immunotherapy, atezol and bev, and the other half to placebo. And the primary endpoint will be best overall response rate at 12-month randomization. And these are some of the secondary endpoints. So thank you very much. This is the introduction to the afternoon. I hope you all enjoy. So sit back and be entertained by our speakers. Thank you very much.